Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Chris Eyre-Walker, and today I'd like to take you behind the scenes on an 80s punk rock concert music video production that was part of a feature-length film that I shot over the last year. So it's quite a double-layered insight into something absolutely awesome we worked on in the last year. So yeah, let's deep dive into it. Let's go. Right, a music video production. You've seen that a million times before, and as a cinematographer, we've all been there, we've all done them. What makes this one different? Well, the big thing is that it was part of a narrative film and part of this 65-minute story that we were telling. So 3.5, 4 minutes of that story were this music video. It continues the story, it progresses the story. So there was a storyline that had to link to what happened before and after, and also give us more information and keep the viewer interested. Add to that the song was written for the story, for the film, by the director, producer and writer of the film, plus the sound engineer Dany Gallo and Sven, also known as Gedankengang. And you can actually check out the song on YouTube as well as Spotify, so I'll link it down below. Joshua invited a whole bunch of people, a crowd of people, all his friends. He pulled a whole bunch of favors, scratched together his own money to make this happen, and we built a scene, we built a set, a punk rock concert set inside his grandfather's old barn. We set this whole thing in the 80s, and everyone was dressed up in black leather, lots of makeup, think punk rock, dirty, sweaty basement scenes, and lots of jumping around and wild times. And for me as a cinematographer, it was a daunting task because we had, I think, 27 people on set, extras on set, plus the production crew. So I think we were in the 30s for a whole afternoon and evening to produce this scene. So as a cinematographer, I really did not want to mess up the storytelling of this music video. The good thing is, the director, writer and producer behind this film is an absolute genius. He approached me with, I think, 260 different drawings that he had done for his film. Every single scene of his film he had drawn out and described in a little text below. So for me as a visual cinematographer, DOP, I had my work was cut out for me. I knew his vision. I understood what he wanted to tell. All I had to do is translate that into light and then create images, beautiful images that helped support his story and hopefully add, through camera movement, through lighting, a little mood and a little feeling to those images to create the film. And he did exactly the same for the music video. So he drew several drawings of how he wanted the story to unfold in that band scene. He had pre-produced the song before we actually started filming the movie, and that allowed us to create a timeline, put the music on it, and I cut out his drawings and put them onto that timeline, so we knew exactly how long every single scene would have to take to cover that amount of time in the song. We rendered that out and actually used that on location, so we had a chronological shooting order of how we needed to shoot things. So we shot really the first moment of the music video all the way through towards the end until we had the very last moment. That was such a huge help towards, making this production work really well and being productive in general. Especially if you have, 30 plus people on location. You only have you've pulled all those favors in. You've got all your friends there. You've got some dude doing the lighting for you. You've got, all these people have come in from a long way. They've dressed up. They've taken time to be there. You don't want to waste their time because there is no second shooting. So being prepared and having done the pre-production went such a long way to actually make sure that we would fit everything in that afternoon, evening that we had in that barn to produce it. Me as a cinematographer, I usually work alone or maybe up to 5 people crews. This was a production of 30 something people on location with 25 people in the crowd, plus we had the band on the scene. There was a lot going on. So like I said, the pre-production went an awful long way to help us manage all of this. And to me it was like something new, blocking so many people and producing scenes, controlled, well lit, target oriented scenes with so many extras in shot. It was fun. It was a good challenge and I really enjoyed that. But it really took this small production to quite a big job to me, and the pressure was on for me to get my shots.
Longing for freedom, longing for you, always awake and dead.
We had to turn 23 people into a jam-packed, sweaty, dirty, old basement concert. If you want to, shoot a shot with a crowd in it, the more people you have, the better it looks. So we really made sure we rearranged everyone all the time and made sure that the shots were all filled and that we had lots of layers. If we were putting the camera far behind, we'd have as many layers as possible, as packed as possible, and having them as close as possible to the singer on stage. And that went a long way towards making it feel like there was a lot of people having a great time at this fake punk rock concert. And I think it turned out well. The behind the scenes shows how few people are there, and when you look at the actual final shot, you see that it looks way more packed and way more sweaty and gross than it really was. So I think we fulfilled that requirement. What also really helped was the fact that Joshua, I had the image transmission off my camera. I put him in a corner with my director's screen and made sure he wasn't breathing down my neck. He could be focused on the script, on the storyline. He had the music video in front of him with the sketches and just tick off the shot list. And it helped that he was in control of everything. So he would say, okay, we're shooting this kind of scene right now. I would get in position. We would make sure the stage lighting would be in the right place. And then he would press play on the music and the people would just, dance around, or the singer would sing. And if he was happy with it, he would stop the music and we could continue. If not, we would maybe search a second or third angle, and he would just reset that moment of the song, and he knew exactly where we were at all times. It took that weight off our shoulders, and we could just focus on getting a beautiful looking image. For one section of the music video, we had this like psychedelic, funky, crazy lighting idea, or Joshua wanted like a psychedelic scene, and I thought we could shoot something in slow motion. We had all the girls come to the front row, head banging their hair like crazy, and we set the strobes on full blast. I set the camera, I think, to 100 frames, maybe 120 frames per second, and the shutter speed was set to 360 degrees, which added extra motion blur. The result was just mesmerizing. You got that extra motion blur through the slow shutter angle, but in slow motion, and on top of that, it was pitch dark most of the time, only if the strobe hit, and you would get then a short burst of motion blur, and then it would go dark again, and so on and so on. Later on in editing, we actually layered up to, I think, 4 or 5 of those layers on top of each other, and it just had this crazy cool effect. An experiment that worked out on location, and it was just perfect.
A Firedance in the sky, or a crash into the sea. And to die it's a lone mayfly. There's nothing in between.
For most of it, I used the stage lighting. We had a great little stage set up with strobes on all sides. We had, beautiful red and blue lighting going on, and all of that really gave us that sweaty old basement feeling. Additionally, sometimes for close-ups, I added my Godox light tubes and put them on red or blue. I think red most of the time, and brought them in close to create a bit more of a highlight on the person that we were filming, usually the singer. That was actually basically all the lighting we did. I shot the entire thing on my Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro G2 with DZO picto zoom lenses, and one final shot you'll see at the end. We shot with the Pocket 6K to get it mounted overhead. I just can't rig my heavy camera that high up safely with the equipment I have. That was all the equipment really needed. It worked so well. Those DZO lenses, the picto zooms, have that nice vintage feel. I added a Pro Mist, a quarter black Pro Mist in front of the lenses too, to even get more softness in the image. It was all about like dirtying down and making the image look worse than, it shouldn't look too modern. We wanted it to look old 80s style. I have to say, this was probably the coolest fake basement punk rock concert party I've ever been to. The fact that you felt you were at a party at all times, but then we would just cut the music, cut the scene, and rearrange. And I don't know, it was just this weird thing. Like, there was such a good vibe. Everyone is so dressed up, but at the same time we were all there to produce scenes for our film. And the other thing I really enjoyed was that we had all this control. So we could stop the music, rearrange our people. I could put the camera right in the crowd or right next to the singer on stage, where you would never normally see a stage performance video captured, and that sort of gave the concert, the whole scene, a feeling of it's more than just a punk rock concert recording from the 80s. It was part of the narrative story, and the camera being creative and getting cool angles that you normally wouldn't be able to get really supported that idea that there was a story being told as well. And this like mix of, this is a cool concert that's happening somewhere in a dirty basement, yet it kind of looks like you're there and the camera is deliberately placed in certain angles, in certain places. That mix was really fun, and I think it made the music video ultimately really, really interesting to look at. So what did I take away from this production? Honestly, the most impressive part about it was that we got so many friends together. Lots of them were volunteers, were just coming up to this production for fun, to be on location with us. But it's the professionals behind it too. You have Dany, the sound engineer, who made this song happen with Sven and Joshua, Raji, the camera assistant, moving everything around at all times, and just everyone being super duper professional about what they're doing. I don't want to forget anyone, but the list is so long. And I think when you bring your A game, when you really take everything serious and you try to do good, amazing work, those people around you get affected by that, and everyone starts taking it to that next level. And it's only with an amazing crew of people that are really passionate and really into what they're doing that make high quality work possible. My camera and I, that's just the tiniest puzzle piece of something that can be amazing, can be awesome. And I really took that away from this production with so many people, that if you bring your A game, people do the same. They will put in the effort, and the production value and the art you create just gets taken to another level. Okay, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. Please go check out the music video. It's on Gedankengang's YouTube channel. I'll link that down below, put it up in the cards now too. And check it out on Spotify too. It's called Firedance. So yeah, listen to it. The song is awesome. And hopefully I see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.